Matt got really obsessed with this orc thing and wanted to prove to Sam that the red one go faster. So they just went screaming into the warp, and we haven't seen him since. So it's just gonna be me and Josh today. Welcome back, everybody. This is the Sessions Canceled podcast, where it's me, Clown, and my friend Clown.
I should have known it was gonna be a warp-related joke.
I was trying to do our Char as the bull one, but I couldn't think of any that would have been like pertaining to Matt and Sam. I was trying to think about how I could make a full frontal joke because that still pisses me the fuck off.
There's a man, for anyone listening, there's a man in Gundam, his name is Full Frontal. I'm not going to give you any more context, just look him up. That's all I have to say on that one.
He's just Char Aznable from Gundam with like better hair. It's great.
Better hair and a really drippy mobile suit.
Yeah, really drippy mobile suit. Shout out to the fucking Sinanju.
I can't.
In that one time, Char had a solid gold mobile suit.
God damn it.
Oh my god. All right. Well, I mean, this intro is pretty apropos of like how this episode is gonna go, because I had some ideas and then our friends tried to prove that the red ones go faster. So I cannot do any of those ideas, or I don't want to because they're pretty big ones.
We're holding on to them. We're holding on to them for later. We're keeping the 12 gauge for the bigger monsters to shoot, or what, I don't know. No 50 cals today.
Almost.
No 50 cals. That's all I'm saying. No. So,
oh my gosh.
Do you think Full Frontal and the weird death AI from Kamen Rider, you think they'd get along?
You know what? I think okay. Lord Arc and fucking Full Frontal would get along really well. I don't think he'd get along too well with Char, because I think Char would just say, I can't feel malice, my shades are Gucci, but...
Oh my god. I shouldn't have said that. Why did I say that? Why
did you say that? Why did you put me on this now?
I don't know. I don't know. Isaiah's been subjecting me and everyone else to Kamen Rider and Gundam lately, so it's just, this is the life we live.
Look, as I've gotten, I've learned that I'm becoming my dad. Which is not good. Because when I was growing up, my dad had like pretty much 2 or 3 hyperfixations, right? It was like kung fu movies, Godzilla, and Robotech, and they've all just folded into tokusatsu because his penultimate hyperfixation is Godzilla. He's got Godzilla everything. Godzilla shirts, Godzilla figures all over his fucking liquor cabinet, all over his work desk. He's got Godzilla everywhere.
That sounds amazing.
It is. It's great. Because you don't understand, like, every year or so I spend a few days down there, and a lot of the times he takes a shower in me and my brother's bathroom, which is like, he's got his own bathroom in his room, but the water pressure is like always sucked and he can never fix it. So, I'll be like on my phone or like, watching a movie or something, and he'll come out of the shower in a stark white bath towel, and I just hear him walking into his room going dun 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 dun, and he's got his arms up like Godzilla. Okay. My dad's an animal.
That's okay. This is not lore I was expecting to get today.
No, it's not. But I've learned that I'm just becoming him insofar as I had my hyperfixations, and like anyone who knows me knows that I like my main 4 things that keep me going are like Godzilla, Evangelion, Ultraman, and fucking Kamen Rider at this point, and it's just exploded. It's just hit 15. I fucking apparently can't go 10 minutes without bringing it up or someone saying something that brings it up. I have a problem. Okay.
All right. Well, yeah. Apropos of absolutely nothing. Hey, it'd be real great if y'all just pause for a minute and hit the follow or subscribe button on whatever platform you listen on. That'd be nice. Maybe it'll summon Sam and Matt back to our reality.
That's a big doubt, homeboy.
I can hope.
You can cope.
Yeah, copium.
Oh my god. All right. Well, so, because we're not doing our topics or the topics I had thought, I figured we could just sort of do like a stream of consciousness sort of. Yeah, I mean, like fucking unhinged energy.
Rapid fire.
Just ramble on about the nonsense that I've been thinking about with my game for the last weeks. And I like the
is this an intervention you're executing on yourself? Is that what this is?
Maybe.
This is self-executed intervention.
It might be. Although I don't really know what I'd be intervening against. Like, I have no problems in my game. I've just sort of had thoughts as a game master.
I would argue all thoughts as a game master are problems to be solved. I don't think you ever, like... Which makes it sound negative. That's not me saying they're negative, but everything is sort of a problem to be solved in a sense, because that's kind of what
problem
you're doing.
To be solved, challenge to overcome.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, like... So the first one I've been thinking about
is how to get a common rider in the game. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm not joking.
So here's the thing.
I'm joking. God damn it.
It's too late.
God damn it.
I'm not saying that I have Kamen Rider Ichigo in my setting. I'm not saying that for a fact he exists. I'm just saying there's a non-zero chance he doesn't exist.
I believe it. All right, go ahead. I won't decide. Holding it in.
You did it to me that time. See?
I did. I really did. I don't even know why. I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know who are you people. Why am I here?
I'm a Kamen Rider fan. I think
there is a level of stupid. I really appreciate it that it's like Power Rangers, but Power Rangers turned to 11, and I just.
Yeah, it's Power Rangers with more plastic armor.
Yeah.
It's really adult Power Rangers because my man fucking got glickied about, what, 4 times?
I mean, I shouldn't be surprised. I used to be very obsessed with Power Rangers. But, like, it's not that surprising.
Yeah, it's fair enough. Because big same.
No, get to what you're actually going to say, though. God damn it.
Yeah. I did look. You did this to me.
I know what I did. I'm aware.
So... One of the things I've been thinking about is I've said a lot of good things about Hellscapes. Wow, that was gonna stutter if I didn't stop myself. And I've known that, it is sort of by nature like a post-beta. Like, it doesn't feel like a full release for that game.
Shit ain't done, fam. Shit ain't done.
No, yeah, it's not. It ain't done.
It's in it's early access. Like,
yeah. It's one of those things that will perpetually exist in early access and never come out of it.
Yeah.
And like a lot of things, I was just used to being like, making up calls about certain rulings on the fly. You're just being like, we'll just ignore this. But it's gotten to a point after 3 years that I'm getting real tired of doing it.
Yep.
And I just wish it would do what I fucking tell it to do sometimes.
Yep.
Oh, no, sorry, not do what I tell it to do, but like
do what it says on the tin.
Yeah, because it's like we were talking about this yesterday. One of the main things that Hellscapes does is it sort of assumes that you already know 5e, which, if it was just a mod, right? If it was just a toolkit to be used, that's fine because you need 5e to work in tandem with it, right? Like, you can't play a toolkit by itself. You need something to use the toolkit on.
But it's not advertised as that.
No, it's not advertised that. It's advertised as a full hack.
It's a standalone game.
Which it just sort of isn't, unfortunately.
So there's an interesting thing there. It kind of is in the older sense of what a hack was. Because back in the Dizay, in the older days of RPGs, a hack of a game essentially was, hey, you already played game X. Here is a set of rules Y to attach to and change game X, but you have to understand game X. Like, hacks back in the day were often not standalone games and could not be used as standalone games. And I think probably Pathfinder, I don't know that I'm sort of this pause the stream of consciousness. this is me throwing out conjecture and guesses. I don't know the history of this specifically, but if I were to take a guess, Pathfinder was a big reason that this shifted, where a hack started to become its own game. And then later down the road, and this one I do know, Apocalypse World became responsible for sort of the idea of like a hack family, right? Because Apocalypse World spawned Powered by the Apocalypse. And if somebody says a game is powered by the apocalypse, you understand there's like a scaffolding structure that game is based on that it is going to utilize. So if you pick up one Powered by the Apocalypse game and another Powered by the Apocalypse games, there's things that will very quickly mirror between them, and you will understand because you understand the scaffolding. 5e has also become this, where 5e is used as like a scaffolding system, although we don't have a cool name for it. Like Blades of the Dark has Forged of the Dark, Powered by the Apocalypse is for Apocalypse World. We don't have like a cool name for like 5e hacks, even though
everyone just says 5e. Like,
yeah, they're just 5e hacks, but in reality, there is like a culture family thing. There is like a hack family around 5e now too, which is kind of funny.
I mean, like, I think it's literally just called 5e. Like, it's anything 5e, kind of lame. It's not great. It doesn't really roll off the tongue. It's not really catchy or punchy.
Oh, there's one for Burning Wheel too. What's it called?
What the fuck? Seriously?
Yeah. Because the creator of Burning Wheel made a bunch of Burning Wheel spin-offs, and then that started like Mouse Guard is based on the Burning Wheel system.
Interesting.
So yeah, there's one for Burning Wheel. Also, the guy who made Cyberpunk Red sort of coined his system. I forget what he called it, but there was a thing there too. But anyway, point being, yeah. So like, Hellscapes is sort of a hack in the older sense of it, which is kind of funny. I don't know if that was on purpose necessarily, but it just kind of is.
It's definitely not how it was advertised. So I'm gonna say no.
It's definitely not advertised that way. And having looked through also their other game, Hyperlanes, that appears to be much the same problem.
Yeah, you know what's funny? Hyperlanes came out first, and I feel like it has a level of polish that Hellscapes does not have, weirdly enough.
Maybe Hellscapes was the first job?
It almost feels like it, right? Like, in all fairness, I've read the Hellscapes rulebook
multiple times,
2 or 3 times, like, cover to cover, just to make sure, like, if there was like a really weird thing that happened in game, or someone wanted to ask me something about the game and I couldn't answer it, so I was like, oh, I gotta read this thing. Oh, well, that led me to this thing, that led me to this thing, so on and so forth, I only read Hyperlanes once, and it was a pretty fast read. Like, I didn't really take the time to really collate all the things that I had read. So maybe. But it does seem like Hyperlanes has a level of polish that Hellscapes lacks, which is unfortunate.
So why were you bringing this up, though? I feel like a direct.
Oh, yeah. So I'm just sort of getting annoyed by the inconsistency in the inconsistencies, if that makes sense. Like, we were talking yesterday, and and for the record, I basically, what I'm doing is I'm trying to go through all of the gambits. They're like the stand-ins for spells that every class gets in Hellscapes. And I'm trying to sort of make an errata about the ones that my players are using specifically, because they're the only ones that are going to affect me directly. And even in that, there were some where, like, for example, range, right? Like, range is a big thing with spells. A lot of the gambits for Hellscapes use a weapons like range as a spell. And in some phrase, like, sometimes range says weapon range, and then sometimes it just says weapon. And that's a really minor one, right? But like that, and like something so simple, not having like a codified phrase or term that you would use, you just kind of went, yeah, that one makes sense, and that one makes sense,
Yeah, I mean, that is that's an editing. That's just, it didn't get proper cleanup editing pass.
No, yeah, I'm sure. Like, I feel like that's a lot of it. Like, it probably needed 2 or 3 more real passes with some serious edit jobs to be like completely, quality control releasable as like a full product and not like a weird early access thing.
Yeah.
The The one that like, you know, when we talked about this yesterday, the one that had me just fucked for like an hour and a half, more like an hour probably, was one of the abilities specified duration 1 round. And in 5e, it's specifically, whenever something says 1 round, it'll specify on the start of your turn, end of your turn, start of enemy's turn, end of enemy's turn, initiative 20, so on and so forth.
Yeah, it'll be specific about the time span.
Yeah, Hyperlanes didn't do that. It just said, well, the duration is whatever the duration thing says.
Hellscapes.
Yeah, sorry. It just said, this lasts for the duration of 1 round. So then I started thinking, like, what the fuck does that mean? Because if you think about 1 round, that could either mean 1 round passes and it comes back to your turn, or 1 round passes and then initiative 20 kicks off, which is technically the start of any round. So what do I do? Because if you're, you know, if one of the players is last on the initiative, if let's say they're initiative 1, and then, you know, initiative will tick down to 0 and jump back up to 20, well then that's the end of the round. Like, sucks to suck, loser.
I don't think initiative 20, quote unquote, is like a end of round official thing. I think
it's not like
you're extrapolating that.
Yeah, I mean, it's because anything that has an effect on the GM side will almost always kicks off at initiative 20.
Yes, but it's not an official end of round thing because you can have an initiative higher than 20.
You can, yeah.
Pretty easily.
Yes, you can. But again, I was just sort of thinking about it in a like how it from the GM side of things.
You should just, I mean, top of round. Yeah. Really the phraseology. Yeah. It's there's not much you can do about it. I think, you know, when you're dealing with if you found a game that you like and it's sort of an incomplete mess and you know it's an incomplete mess, you just gotta accept that either A, you're just gonna say fuck it and ignore the mess and just deal with the problem as it comes, or B, do the extra work to do a little bit of fixing for your own table. The good thing about fixing, you know, fixing a game you're running is you're only fixing it for your table. So you don't need to be as precise with the language or as specific with the ruling, or you don't need it to cover a lot of bases, right? You only need to cover the use case scenarios at your table. So it's a little bit easier. But it's annoying. And there's no way for it to not be annoying. I think the particular annoyance here, though, is the fact that you didn't know the game was, like, broken and or unfinished.
No, I did. I knew. Even before I started playing the game, when I first went through, I was like, oh.
I mean, I remember you talking about it, but even when you were acknowledging it's sort of an unfinished thing, I don't know if you realized quite the degree, you know?
Yeah, I mean, yes, because there are some things where you read it and then you're like, oh, I get it, but then you don't really get it until you hit that point of the game.
You hit the wall of it, yeah.
Yeah, like
till it meets mechanics and players.
Like LP Ant, he just got an ability that just lets him turn any base material in the game into another material of any kind. You could turn bone into nuclear material. Fucking how? It just says appropriate toolkit, but that has to assume that there is a toolkit that can do, like, yeah. It doesn't specify anything, and I wouldn't have really had to like wrestle with that until they hit level 13.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, like
I remember when you were looking at the game and you were talking about stuff like, oh, they said there were going to be base building mechanics, but there aren't. So like there was stuff like that I remember you talking about.
Yeah, basically they were supposed to put out like an expansion that had base building and like faction based stuff, and it, as far as I'm aware, it just never came out, which bummed the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Like to such a degree that I had to like pretty much take that whole mechanic out, because I was, you know, it was like a mechanic on loan, right? I was gonna get my returns at some point and then I didn't.
Yeah, I'm looking at their drive-through RPG down. All the supplement stuff's up here. Hellscapes. Or for Hyperlanes.
Bitch.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I mean, and it looks like they're working on a Cyberpunk game.
Oh.
Is that what this?
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Geek is a sneak preview class for Cyber, a cyberpunk game genre adaptation of D5e. So it seems like they put Hellscapes out and went, fuck this shit.
Yeah, it fucking seems like it.
Yeah.
And after all the free fucking promotion I've been doing for these guys, god.
Yeah, weird. I wonder why they dropped it.
Yeah, if somebody knows, all 30 of our listeners, if one of you know, you probably won't, but if you do, means a lot to me. Yeah, so the real conundrum of all of this sort of manifests insofar as I've only imagined this game going on for another 10 months maximum, maybe less. So now that we're about to hit 3 years officially of game time, right? Is there any point in me doing this stuff? And realistically, no, right? I get it. There really isn't a point for me to do this stuff, but I feel like I want to, because now that things are going to get more noodly at late level, I might as well tackle it now rather than never. But I'm sort of struggling with the what is it all for? What does it all mean?
Is there a point in doing it now? Yes, but actually no.
Yeah, I mean, yes, because it matters to me, but no, because it's been.
No, I wouldn't even say that. I would say yes, for sort of keeping your own sanity in check to get over the finish line, but no in terms of any sort of broader long-term plan. So I think the trick here is, when dealing with this frustration, is step one is you got to identify, what am I absolutely going to need and use in the last leg of thing, right? So, let's, we'll use we'll go into another game realm as comparison here. So you're running a 5e game. It's been 2 years, blah, blah, blah. Players are level 15, yada, yada, yada. You're in the last leg of the campaign. You have never once touched, the downtime rules, right? Let's just say. You've never once looked at the downtime rules. You need to look at yourself and have a good long think and be like, all right, in these last couple of months of this game, am I gonna even fucking bother with the downtime rules? And if the answer's no, just move on. Just move on with your life and accept that, I probably should have used these early on, but I didn't, so whatever, we're moving on. And just move forward, right? That's kind of what you got to figure out, is what stuff are you absolutely going to use? Make sure that falls into place well enough that things can function and move on. It doesn't even need to work very well. It just needs to be, passably functional. And then any stuff that's excess fat, just trim that bitch off. Just don't even worry about it. You might have had some cool ideas early on. They're like, I didn't get to implement this plant. Just let it go. Just let it go. Just only, you're on the final editing page. You got to get your 600 page novel down to 450 pages. It's time to start cutting. That character's mom, dead. That character's kid, fucking dead. That sword, never mind. Not in the story anymore. That guy, I don't know. He fucks off. Doesn't matter. Just start taking shit out. Bare minimums. And then once you have all that, go, okay, do any of the bare minimum baby children, do any of these kids need attention? Are any of these kids fucking brain dead? And the answer is probably going to be a couple of them. So, if you deal with that.
Nice.
That's basically how I do it. There's no point in trying to there's no point in trying to put an inane amount of effort into getting all the dominoes to fall perfectly when you only need 10% of the dominoes to fall correctly, and the rest of the dominoes could fucking explode and go up your ass, and it doesn't matter.
Painful.
Yeah. You just sort of figure out, it's you just figure out what the immediate workload needs to be and then go from there. And the only scenario where I would say that's not the case is if, for some reason you were thinking, I want to make all these fixes to then run a subsequent campaign with the fixes applied from the start, then it might be worth it. But as far as I'm aware, that's not the plan, so.
No, it's not. I mean, I'd be lying if I said a part of me wasn't at least partially doing it in case, for whatever reason, someone wants to run Hellscapes in the future. I can be like, here are the notes. I did the work so you don't have to. You're fucking welcome.
The thing is like, I don't even think that's worth it, because good chance somebody takes your notes and goes, I don't like these notes, and then just ignores them anyway.
Maybe, but the chance, I feel like the chance that someone does take it and learns from where I had to do a lot of work and they don't have to do all that much work, I don't know, to me that's worth it.
I would say you can give them the spark notes, but any like real specific mechanical fixes and shit, nah, probably not worth it. Like, you could tell them like, oh, this came up a whole bunch, be worried about this. Like, oh, the players are going to do a lot more damage than you think. Make sure you're aware of that. Like, oh, a lot of the gambits don't, have weird wording or don't always work the way you want them to. Be aware of that. But don't giving them like hyper specific, like, this is how I fixed it mechanically. Unless they ask, is probably not worth it. Like, if somebody asked, like, oh, did you fix this gambit? And then you could say, yes, I did. Then, yeah, sure. But if they don't ask, it's kind of like throwing throwing too much shit at them is just going to make the brain go boop and shut down.
Yeah, well, I sort of saw it as someone being like, hey, I want to run Hellscapes. You ran it. What should I know? And then I can be like, all right, well, here's the notes.
Yeah, what should I know is fine. But, like, I'm saying don't give them your, like, here's my, like, literal homebrew notes.
Yeah, I mean, both of you two assume I have homebrew notes.
You know what I mean.
Yes.
I mean, you were writing things down literally yesterday, so you got something.
Yeah. It's actually funny. It sort of segues into something else I've been thinking about, which is the characters themselves, right? Like, I've been trying, like, I have, 3 characters left to do backstory stuff for? And thankfully, for one of them, it's mostly done. I'd say about 60% of it is done. For one player, it's like 40%, and then someone else is like 10, just because I just finally got some backstory. You know who you fucking are. So I have to, I have 7 levels left, and like roughly 10 months, which, you break that down, 4 sessions a month, that's 40 sessions to figure all this shit out and still do the end game stuff I want to do, which is doable. It's possible, but like, how much of it should I focus on the backstory stuff? Is there a point where I should just say like, let's trim down some of the more extrapolatory background stuff I had going on to like finish out the story, and then we can do some like finishing touches once the story stuff is over, like once they hit level 20. Or should I just throw out whatever end game I had and then focus everything into the background stuff and then see where I'm at, and then maybe push some background, the story stuff, you know what I mean? I'm not really sure what my pacing is going to be, and the closer I get to higher level, the more like worried I am. Level 0 to 10, or level 1 to 10 was like fucking breeze. You're like, oh, yeah, this is so easy. Everything is great. I got no worries. I got 20 whole levels to fix any of these problems. This is great. And now I've got, 7, and I'm like, oh fuck.
Yeah. Well, step 1 is just trim all the fat. All fat gone at this point. Like, you got no room for fuckery. Got no room for nonsense. Anything that is not important or necessary, trim that shit off. What's that? There was a dumb little side quest about the farmer's baby? Whatever. Farmer's baby fucking exploded. Goodbye. What's that? The drow need help because the spider ate their baby? Don't care. Fuck off. Let them get eaten by the spiders. Move on. Trim all fat. That's step 1. Once you trim all the fat, you go, okay, what do I give a shit about? What do my players give a shit about? If your players really, really give a shit about their personal backstories and really, 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 really want to resolve that, then go for those. And, if there's a little bit of leeway room after resolving backstory shit, then maybe there's a little wrap up, final quest, bad guy fight, something like that. If you players kind of don't care so much about their like backstory wrap up and would rather just kind of see where the like overall plot of things is going and just want to see this sort of like, let's get to the end of this thing, then just fucking get to the end of the thing. Like anything that's immediate, like anything that it wouldn't make sense to ignore, don't ignore it. You know, if one of the carries back, what? Ooh, what? Mm-hmm. What did I just say? Carries? One of the characters' backstory is, fucking, I don't know. My dad's gonna be here in 3 days to, like, kidnap me and bring me back home. You know, don't ignore that. Like, in the 3 days, dad shows up, because that's such an immediate thing, and it would be really weird if suddenly dad just changed his mind and went home and fucked off. Like, that sort of thing. But if one of the players is like, I really got to repair my relationship with my sister, it's like, we could throw that to the side and just have a session of like an epilogue session, and maybe you go talk to your sister in the epilogue session. You don't really need to do that at the table necessarily. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, any of the if your players want to go towards the big arcing plot thing, any of that excess backstory stuff that's, sort of a little bit of fluff, throw it the fuck out. Deal with the immediate, go to the final arc. Players want to do backstory, throw the final arc the fuck out, finish up the backstory stuff, see what's left over, make a new, sort of semi-new final arc. Not completely brand new, like you could probably still use whatever idea you might have had, you just gotta reconfigure it. All right. So the final arc was gonna be my player and one of my players and his family were gonna charge against the guy who like betrayed them all those years ago. That's going to take too much time. We're going to rejigger it. Okay, the final guy is encroaching on the town instead and is going to just kill them all, and they just have to defend themselves, and that's just how we finish it up. But, like, it's the same dude or whatever. No. Like, you just sort of readjust it to, like, fit the new structure. These two characters weren't related before. Well, they are now, because that speeds things up. Shit like that.
They are now, fucker.
The dragon that the players were going to go fight, well, originally he was going to be a different dragon, but you know what? He's going to be the dragon they saw in Session 5, because that will round things out better and quicker. So he's the dragon from Session 5. I changed my fucking mind. Shit like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of lucky, because two of the characters' backstories are somewhat like they've been linked, but not on purpose. It just sort of worked out that way. So I feel like if I play my cards right, I can figure out how to resolve them both at almost the same time and not have them feel like they're being shafted. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, wrap up whatever is in like the immediate purview. That
figure out how the fuck to do that.
I mean, it ain't gotta be perfect. Just slap some shit in there. I don't know.
That kind of brings me to another thing that I'm trying to figure out how to resolve for plot reasons. And like, the deed is done, so it's fine. Like, it doesn't really matter if this is a spoiler. But they just fought the bad guy for like this arc that's been going on, right, for the last 3-4 months. And I did it, and it didn't take 1.5 years. And it feels so good.
Yeah.
It was good. I was like, I want it to last like 3.5, maybe 4 months, and god damn it, I pulled it off. Let's go, gamers.
Yeah, that's one of those things. That's a GM muscle you figure out over time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And also, different systems can flex that muscle in different ways.
True.
But yeah, a lot of what I'm saying here is, you're in the final stages. You ain't got no fuck around room. Just and don't or no. I should rephrase that. You're in the final stages. Don't be precious about things. Just do the thing. You know, like, don't think too deeply. Like, does this make sense? Would this make sense? Does this fit in my world? But doesn't matter. Just do it. Justify it later.
I mean that I'm gonna have a hard time doing that because I've worked really fucking hard to make sure that everything stays
do it, bitch.
I mean, no,
Shush.
But also
do it. Doesn't matter. You're in the final stages. This is what you have to do. This is how it goes.
Yeah, I don't think I can. I think I would struggle too much. I'd sit there and
you ain't got a choice
brain until I could get it to work. I don't know what to do then because
all right,
if it doesn't make if it's not internally justifiable in its own logic, then like
all right, let me put it this way.
You throw all the rules out the window. That's the issue I'm running into.
Let me put it this way. Either you do that or just fucking end the game now. Like you can't.
I mean, I feel like you're being a little like one or the other has to be. I'm pretty sure we can find a good halfway point here.
I mean, I'm being extreme, but the point I'm making in the extreme, like I'm not. I think you're taking me a little too literally here. What I'm saying is, you can't. If you want to wrap things up and you're setting a timer on the wrapping up, then you cannot get precious about things. You know, this is the stage. Let's go into the universe of art for a moment here. This is the stage of the drawing where you're figuring out. You're doing gestures, you're figuring out pose, you're working on perspective. Nothing in the drawing is precious. If you need to erase the 5 hours you spent on trying to figure out the fucking position of the arm, then you erase the 5 hours you spent on the position on the arm so that in the 6 hour you can get it right. Like, there is no preciousness. Just do things. Just do. And, you know, I mean, keep them internally consistent enough that it's not like, I'm not saying have fucking space aliens drop from the sky for no goddamn reason. Like, keep it internally consistent enough that it's like plausible, but don't be so precious about it where it's like you need to, you know, have 5 steps back planned and 5 steps forward planned for every single character they meet. Like, if you just need to throw a character in to make something work, even though that character wasn't there before, then just throw the fucking character in. Just do it, and then if somebody asks where the hell that dude came from, justify it later. Just come up with some reason later, if you know, if it even matters. It might not even come up, that's the thing. Especially because once your players pick up on, if they haven't already, once your players pick up on the fact that we're hitting that point of like home stretch, they're not gonna care as much. You know, they're not gonna like the things in the purview that you might have thought were interesting or given a shit about before as a player. Once you realize like, oh, we're in the final arc, I don't give a shit about it. You know, it's like that. It's the part in the open world video game where you've been playing the open world game for so long that you don't give a shit about any of the open world quests anymore. You're just beelining the main story. You're ignoring every side quest. You're ignoring every NPC. You're not climbing any more fucking radio towers. You're not collecting any more bear asses. You're just beelining that main story because you want to get to the fucking end of it. You know, it's that.
I know that you're trying to make a point. I could honestly say I have never done that.
Okay, then you are the 2% of society because like most people, after a certain point in open world games, stop caring about all the side shit and just go to beeline the main story and finish it.
Let's do it. Let's put it this way. I did all of the find the random bullshit like mini jobs in Cyberpunk before I did the final level.
Yeah, you are a tiny minority.
I know I am.
Most people do not do this, and you need to, and your players are probably not going to want to do that. So just
no, of course they're not going to want to do
beeline.
What I'm trying to really hit is like I'm trying to speed run the shit they don't care about, but make sure that the points have enough like narrative oomph and that the important moments don't feel like they came out of left field. Because like me as a player, I would care about that. Like that would bother the shit out of me.
Cat stepped on my fucking mute button. That's what I'm saying. Let them come out of nowhere a little bit. It's okay. Just let it happen.
That wouldn't bother you at all as a player?
Not in the final stretch. No.
Interesting.
Because when you acknowledge that's the final stretch, you acknowledge like things are gonna get like things speed up, stuff goes, we're on the move, shit's happening. I don't really care about my peripheral view as much when you get into the final stretch, you know? Like
because
the thing you care about is the end. You want to see what the ending is going to be. When the ending is in sight, when you can grasp it, and you're like, we're going to do it. We're going to end the thing. You just don't care about the purview. It's not as important anymore.
I don't know if I agree with that. Like, because for
ask
me,
your players.
Like, maybe. I mean, I'm not really talking about my players in this instance, but like.
No, I know. I'm just saying. I ask them.
Yeah, if I'm always the person where it's like, oh, this character went missing at the end of the like second half, or like the end of the second third of the movie of the book, and then he shows up after the final fight, and he's like, oh yeah, I got held up for a little bit. I'd be like, what the fuck were you doing?
That's fine.
Like that, it genuinely irks me. So like,
shouldn't.
I mean, I don't know why. Because here's the thing, right? Like,
it's okay to leave gaps.
If you're
leave
so
questions.
Focused on the end goal that the world around the end goal crumbles under its own weight, then I don't think it's successful. I think it failed.
I didn't say anything about the world crumbling under its own weight. See, you're thinking about it too, like.
I mean, it's kind of hard. You're using some real extreme language.
Yeah, because you don't listen to me if I don't.
No, I mean, I think if you use a bit of like subtlety, it's fine. Like.
No, because I've tried, and you don't listen to me if I don't. So I'm being hyperbolic here, so you'll listen.
You think that's gonna change anything?
I don't know, but you're paying attention.
It's not.
You're paying attention. You're responding. Plus,
I was paying attention before.
Plus, also, it's more fun to listen to me yell like a psycho on the other end. You know?
I fucking guess.
What's the fun if I'm talking boring? I think you have this thing that, because this is now, we've now shifted beyond tabletop, and this is a problem Isaiah has with the storytelling thing. And you have this thing where you're like, all the Legos must snap together. All the blocks must fall into place. You can't just leave an open gap. You have to tell me what happened here. It's okay for things to just not get answered. Like, it's okay for things to just be like, oh, that was weird. Anyway, it's fine. A lot of authors do it on purpose, in fact.
Yes. I know they do, but if it's done correctly, right? If you break the rules and you understand that you're breaking the rules and you're going out of your way to set something up so that it doesn't feel shitty when the rule gets broken, then yeah, it's fine. But I don't think I'm competent competent enough to do that. And even then, I as a viewer still get mad.
Isaiah, you're not writing a novel. Okay, you don't need to be competent.
No, I know I'm not, but I'm.
You don't need to be competent. Just do it. Your players will live. They'll survive. They probably won't even notice.
I don't know about all that.
Most of the time, players do not notice.
Like, let's say one of the characters had like a missing father who's just like, oh yeah, sorry, I got lost in a storm once and I just never found you. Like,
see, but that's a dumb example. I'm not saying make it fucking stupid. You're giving dumb examples.
Well, because you're saying throw it all out. Like,
no, I didn't say throw it all out. I said
the whole thing. When I'm trying to say, I need to make it internally consistent. Like, there has to be a reason why the thing's happening.
I didn't say throw things out. I just said don't be precious about it. Just if you need something to happen, then it happens, and then when somebody asks why it happened, figure it out later. I'm not saying ignore, like, oh, suddenly there's dragons. I'm not saying like ignore logic and just wiggity woohoo, or like, oh, my missing father just went to the store and forgot to came home. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is missing father is gone. Let's extrapolate your missing father example. Missing father is gone for however long ass time. Missing father comes back in the last 10 sessions. Player goes, where the fuck have you been? Father response is, don't worry, I'll tell you later. We got to deal with this problem now. Players deals with the problem 5 sessions later. All right, we dealt with the problem. What the fuck happened? Missing father. Okay, let me explain now. And really, what that actually is you as the GM saying, I don't have an answer yet, player. I'm going to come up with an answer later. So, like, hold your damn horses. Just be aware that your dad's back now. That's all you need to know. That's what I'm saying. And I'm trusting I am confident enough that you have enough brain cells and enough big gigas brain power to figure that kind of shit out. I'm not when I say this, I'm not assuming that you're gonna give dumb reasons like, oh, your dad just fucking showed up. I don't know, who cares? I'm not saying you're gonna do that. What I'm saying is you're gonna be smart enough to be like, all right, dad shows up. I will figure out why for some reason later down the road. Or maybe I have a really good spur of the moment idea and I throw that bitch out. But again, don't be precious. Just throw that bitch out if you have it. Like, I'm assuming you know how to do it. I'm not assuming that I'm not assuming you're gonna just like fuck up. Like, yeah, obviously, if you just start saying things happen for no goddamn reason, that's a totally different thing. Unless it's intentionally for no goddamn reason, in which case you're kind of going for a different effect, but that's a different realm of story when things start to happen for no goddamn reason. And we're not necessarily in that space, so, you know.
No, we're not. The big thing is I'm trying to avoid it at all costs.
Yeah, see, like, don't stress, just do. Do not stress, just do. Like, you're like, oh, I need to avoid problem X and problem B and problem Y and problem C. And you're like, just do. Like, don't stress so much about, like, what if it doesn't make sense? All right, well, maybe it doesn't. Maybe some of it doesn't, like, maybe if you go through it with a fine-tooth comb, it doesn't totally make sense. But, like, if player's dad shows up and he's like, yeah, I tried to come home and then got completely lost out there in the wasteland and had no fucking way of, like, navigating my way back, that's a good enough explanation, you know? Player's response will probably be like, oh, okay. And, like, does that totally make sense? Is there room where that could maybe not make sense? Maybe, but they're probably not going to think about it that hard. They'll probably accept that as a reasonable answer, you know? Like, oh, in your GM notes, it said, this guy's a super expert wilderness explorer, and then you say, how the fuck did he get lost? But the player just accepts that answer, and you go, okay, well, whatever, he got lost, you know? Like, him being a wilderness explorer, maybe that's not actually a thing. Maybe I just ignore it. Like, I wrote that down, but it didn't come up, so it's not actually a thing because it didn't hit the table. Shit like that. You know? Just like whatever works in the fly as we're rolling. You know? And you know, and that does mean particularly probably NPCs, they're just gonna disappear. Some of them are just gonna drop off into the ether, and that's because you just gotta trim the fat. You know? There's superfluous NPCs are always a thing. I've had a bazillion of them in our game right now, and I don't even think you guys have even noticed.
I mean, I noticed that, like, we don't talk to people anymore. I do recognize, like, not everyone is me and has 8 trillion NPCs.
Well, there's a bunch of NPCs that just haven't, like, probably were gonna be more relevant than they are currently, and I've just let them fall away. Because I was like, fuck it, you know, like, I'm eyes on the prize, so, like, I'm sort of letting it rock as is, you know, like Rolk being a good example. Right, like, he's around and I had kind of ideas for him, but then I was kind of like, nah, whatever, fuck it, like, yeah, let him fall, like, to the wayside.
To the original thing, the thing that's got me right now is or one of the original things that I'm trying to figure out how to justify, like, retroactively, is the bad guy, when he, like, tortured one of the character's friends, like, they very distinctly said, like, oh, he was wearing a gas mask. And I meant to have the character put the gas mask on before the fight started. Like, that was the Borderlands style name pops up on the screen, you know? And then I forgot to do it, and now I'm trying to figure out how to make it so my players aren't like, wait, who the fuck was that other guy? And I have to be like, no, wait, it was him, but I fucked up. I didn't, like, that's an item that you can have, because I wanted the players to take it as, like, loot for killing him, but now they don't even know that it exists, and I'm just like, shit.
Wait, what? You just said, wait. So they never saw him put the gas mask on?
They never saw it. They don't even know he has it. They don't know that was him.
Who was him?
The guy who tortured their friend was the same guy they just killed. Because the linking thing was supposed to be the fucking gas mask that I forgot to have him put on.
So just have somebody like say it.
Yeah, I know. Like, that's
or maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't him. Retcon. It was a different dude.
Yes, I don't know. I feel like it.
If the players never
him a lot of villainous weight, if it's not him.
It's his henchman. Like, if the villains never saw the continuity between the two situations, if the players never saw the continuity between the two situations, then just break the continuity. Say, never mind, didn't happen. You know?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I feel like it robs the villain of so much narrative weight if the villain who was based around a plot twist doesn't get the plot twist, you know?
Well, they already don't know.
I know. That's why I'm trying to figure out how to fix it. And it's in a way that isn't, it just didn't happen.
I mean, you can't really, if you were going, like, a plot twist only works in the moment. And if they already killed the character, then like, and if they already killed the character and moved on, then you just kind of, there's no real fixing it. If there's still room, like, to indicate in some way that it was him, then you could try and indicate a different way. But if they've already moved on, then they've moved on.
They haven't yet. The session ended with him dying. So I feel like there's still time for me to do it right. I have 36 hours to figure it out.
So something else on the body that indicates it was him. Maybe he stole an heirloom from the friend NPC that he killed. Kept it on him. Took that man's toes or some shit. You know, like, just something else on the body. Or, Wait, he was wearing the gas mask when he killed their friend, or he wasn't?
He was, when he tortured the friend, yeah.
Okay, so his body has the gas mask on him now.
Yeah, I know. That's like I said, that's the easy answer. I'm like,
yeah. So when they go to,
it doesn't feel good for
when
me.
they go to look at the body, be like, you recognize the gas mask hanging on his hip.
They didn't see it. They don't like. It was described like.
What was described?
They never saw the mask. That's the big crux. Is they like. They got a rough description of a gas mask with red lenses, and like, yeah, they can find it, but it just.
If they literally, no, I'm saying if they literally walk up to his dead body on the floor and a gas mask with red lenses is hanging off his belt, they're gonna be like, oh. Right?
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty, especially with the red lens thing, like, that's pretty hard to miss. You know, that's not normal, so it's gonna stick out. So it's like, oh, or when he took the last bullet, like, the gas mask fell to the floor. They find it in the dirt. They're like, oh, shit. It's easy. You know, there's lots of ways you could do that. Not like a totally missed thing.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like that's the direction it's gonna have to go. I'm really annoyed about it.
I don't know why. It's not a big deal.
Because I was really looking forward to it.
Yeah,
like, that was one of the things I was arguably looking forward to the most. But we were on a time crunch, and two of the players like.
Yeah, but the opportunity's still there. You know, you're not so far past.
It won't hit the same. That's my problem.
Why won't it hit the same?
Because a plot twist, like, you have to hit a plot twist at just the right time to give it the maximum effect. It's the same thing with any real narrative beat, right?
Right, like, right. Yeah, I get it. You're saying
too soon or too late, it's not going to have the same weight.
It would have been dramatic if he put the mask on during the fight. Sure. But there's still a dramatic weight when they realize after they beat him who it was, you know? Like, there's still a dramatic weight there. It's just a slightly different moment to doing it before the fight started, you know?
Yeah.
Like, sure, if he had done it during the fight, they would have been potentially had more of an emotional reaction to the fight. But now that the fight is past, now they're going to have an emotional reaction after the fight. That's all. it's not like the opportunity is completely lost. It's just in a slightly different place.
I know. Like I said, I know that it's not gone. I'm just bummed that it won't have the same weight.
I think you're assuming it won't have the same weight.
Well, it won't because it can't. Like, all of the stress is over. Well,
you don't know how your players are going to react.
I mean, you don't, but you, like, all of the tension is gone now because, they've passed the finish line. Like, that's
yeah, but they're still going to have a reaction. Like,
they are, but it like, if you found out after, if you found out after Return of the Jedi, like after the credits rolled, and then George Lucas was like, "Oh yeah, by the way, Darth Vader was Luke's father," you'd be like, "What the? Why? Okay, like cool, I guess."
No.
But when you find it out right before the big fight, you're like, "Oh shit."
No, I mean, you'd have a different reaction, but I still think you could still have an emotionally heavy scene where, like, someone, I don't know, let's say Leia, walks up to Luke and was after Return of the Jedi, and, like, Vader's dead, and Leia says, "Oh, like, he was your father." And then Luke has this moment of reflecting, like, "Oh, I didn't know the whole time all that bullshit we went through, and I didn't know it was my dad," Like, it's just a different kind of emotional scene. It's not a lesser scene. You could very easily have the same kind of, like, "Oh, fuck." There's no, and you're projecting your emotion. You're projecting how you would react onto it, but you don't know how your players are going to react. They could have more of a reaction.
They could, but it seems highly unlikely.
They could get more excited, like, yeah, oh, that dude's ass who we just beat was also the other dickhead from before? Get fucked, nerd. Spit on his face, kick him in the balls, like, They could get more hype about it when they find out, like, oh, the dude we just beat is even more of a bitch than we thought.
Essentially.
Like, it's not, like, the idea that, like, it cannot have any emotional impact anymore is totally not true.
I'm not saying it can't have any. It just won't have the same.
Yeah, it'll be different. That doesn't mean lesser.
I feel like in this specific instance, they're kind of hand in hand, but I feel like we're getting stuck on this point for too long.
I mean, look, there are stories of this happening, and it does not make them one method lesser than the other.
I don't know. Shrug, like...
It happens. It's a real, like, it's not like a...
I know it does. It irks me whenever it happens.
See, but this is the problem. You keep projecting onto your players. Don't do that.
I'm not, like... I wouldn't say that I'm projecting on them. I'm trying to hold the work I do to a standard, like, that I would find acceptable.
Yeah, your sensibilities, but that doesn't mean everyone agrees. Like, things you find satisfying does not mean everyone else will find satisfying. And things you don't find satisfying, other people can find satisfying. So stop projecting your assumptions onto how your players are going to react to things. Just do it. If you think it's a cool idea, go for it. It's literally all it is. Now, I get that you thought it would be cooler to have it during the fight, which I understand. And that's valid. And that part you have missed the boat on. But you're now projecting the assumption of, you're restricting yourself by assuming, oh, it's not going to be as good now. Like, you're putting walls up on yourself. But you're doing that because you're thinking about how you would respond, but that doesn't mean how your players are going to respond. Like, you can't, like, a story beats people will respond to differently in everything. All forms of mediums. What I was trying to say. Like, to give this is kind of a weird example that just popped into my brain, but it kind of works. Some people, spoilers for JoJo Part 3, I guess. Some people look at how Avdol dies in JoJo Part 3 and are like, that's fucking lame. You didn't get to have, like, my man's Avdol didn't get to do anything cool. Some people could look at the exact same scene and go, oh, Dio's a fucking like badass. Like he took out well, it wasn't Dio, but you know what I mean. Vanilla Ice, I guess, is a fucking badass. Like he took out Avdol like it was nothing. Like this is a scary motherfucker. Like that showed how evil this character was. You know what I mean? Same scene, two different potential reactions. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about.
Yes, and I think both of them can be true.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So with your scenario, don't let your own assumptions like ruin the scenario. Yeah. Basically what I'm saying.
I'm trying to think. What else of this shit have I been like muddling over?
Mud.
Oh, I mean, this kind of was going to lead into what I was going to talk about next time the Clown Squad is actually here. But I had my first player character death.
No, I shot the player at the tip.
Yeah, right. No, 2 sessions ago had a character die, and it was interesting to say the least. It's the first time I've murphed one of the fucking characters.
Yeah, I don't think you want to talk to me about this.
No, I don't think I do. Because I've sort of already heard your opinion, but like...
Yeah, like, I'm kind of a fucking animal.
I just want to vocalize. Like... It's so wild.
Yeah. I don't know. A lot of, I mean, people are on your side in this, like, in that sense. A lot of people agree that it's like, oh, it's such a crazy thing. Like, first character death is fucking wild. I don't know. I guess my reaction tends to be when a character dies is like, oh, I just look at that as like, oh, that's just a big turning point in the narrative. No.
Yeah, well, I mean,
that's just it's a change up of the status quo, and that's interesting.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing that really got me is that it is a major point, like a major turning point in the story. Because the character's been around for 2.5 years, 3 years in, fuck me, a week? 2 weeks?
Yeah.
So, it was big for that reason, the character had some unresolved things, like, it wasn't like oh my god, like, it was so sad for the players. Like, yeah, I'm sure it was, but like all of the stuff that it now, like all of its ramifications, that's the thing that like really was important to me.
Yeah, but like those are the best character deaths in stories is the unresolved character. Like nobody, like if nobody cares when the character dies of old age if they lived their life all fulfilled and got everything they wanted done. Like, that's not a dramatic death. Now, that's not to say you can't have that kind of character death in the story, but, like, that is not a dramatic character death. When a character is... that's why, the Obi-Wan thing, is sort of a sad death scene because Obi-Wan dies and Luke is like, oh, fuck, I don't know what to do. But Obi-Wan, the character, is completely resolved. You don't feel bad for Obi-Wan. You feel bad for Luke, right? So, like... the unresolved, but if Obi-Wan was way younger and didn't do all the shit he did in his life, different kind of thing, different context. So it's kind of like interesting and dramatic when a character in an RPG goes out and it's like there's some unresolved shit going on.
Yeah, like I'm not arguing that. It I don't know. It just sort of it hit me in a way that I wasn't expecting. Like, I expected it to be like really heavy narratively, and it was awesome. I don't know, it just sort of had me thinking for a while after the fact.
Yeah, that I don't get.
Like you never had that happen. Like a character never died in like any medium, and you were like, shit, and you had to take a step back.
Not like, again, because I like a character death is like, we're getting a big shift up, particularly when you're talking about tabletop games. There are, unfortunately, by their nature, a character can die out of kind of fucking nowhere, and then things tend to feel a little like, shit, okay, well, but when you're talking about like books and, you know, books, movies, story, video games, most of the time when a character dies, it's like, oh, okay, so we're like changing things up. We're hitting the status quo in a different way. We're like making an impact. Somebody's gonna react differently, like shit's going on. Assuming good writing, obviously. When you're talking about bad writing, sometimes character deaths can feel really cheap and stupid, obviously. But when they're not cheap and stupid, you know, it's like, I always just see it as like a character shakeup. Like, oh fuck, this is gonna be like wild and interesting. The whole idea of like going to think deeply about the ramifications of my soul, like I don't get that heavy about it. I mean, and a lot of that for me is like, I know these aren't real people actually dying, you know, right? Like I can detach myself from the situation and know that no one actually died. However, in those scenarios where an actor or something does actually die, then it gets a little weird. For example, the Aunt Polly situation in Peaky Blinders, that was a little heavy, yes, but that's different. That's because the character died because the actor did die, you know, like the actress actually died. So, you know, that's a little different. But like, no, you know, death is. This sounds bad, but like, you know, death is a plot tool. Storytelling, right? So like,
you sort of.
That's how I observe it.
The way that I sort of think about it, right, is like, you know, the characters are more than just like tools to be used by the players, right? Like on some level, they are the players. They're a piece of the players. So when they die, that piece that player puts forth into the universe in this moment, in this specific way, is gone. You know. You kind of have to cut a piece of the way that you think off.
Yeah, see, I don't think about it that heavy.
Fair enough. I mean, like, it...
It's like, you know, the ideas you had that conjured the character up are still in your head. You know?
They are, but you can't, like... You have no avenue to express them, at least not in the same way. Like, you could play them in another game, but it, like they won't be the same character because they won't have the same experiences. They won't, like, you can say that they do.
It'll be a different version, sure, yeah.
So this, you know what, it's sort of like the they talk about this in Kamen Rider. You know, when the android character dies, yeah, they could be rebuilt, but their memories didn't come with them. So that iteration of them is still dead.
Yeah.
And there's something like incredibly heavy about that.
I mean, I guess that's just sort of the interesting fleeting nature of art that makes it, you know, cool and valuable and interesting, though.
Yeah, of course it is. Like, but that's what makes it heavy, right? Like that's.
Yeah, but I guess what I'm saying is I focus on the more interesting, positive side of it. Like I focus on like the part where it's like, interesting sort of. This is like a fleeting expression that has now left the world. Its time is up.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're both positive. I don't think you should dwell on it in like.
Well, you kind of sounded like you saying you dwelled on it.
Well, you to me, dwelling on it is like 6 months later, the game is over, and you're like, damn, what the fuck? Like that would be negative. But having like a week after the fact to be like the process, I think that's fine. Like that's incredible. They're probably healthy.
I guess. I don't know. At the end of the day, it is just a silly game that we roll dice and say funny voices at each other. So, like, I can't... I can only get so invested.
Yeah, I mean, like, I get it. That's how that is for you. But it could be way more for other people. Like, depending on the game, that's how it is for me, at the very least.
Well, what I mean is, like, that's what it literally is.
No, I know. Yes, if you break it down to its, like, barest components, yes, that is what it is. But, like...
Right. So what I'm saying is because of its barest components, I can never... The barrier is always there. Like, I'm never going to get that invested. You know?
Like, I guess. I just can't. I don't know. I struggle with that because if you think that way, if you start breaking things down to their base components, then a lot of things just mean a lot less, you know?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, you know, if you want to get like real fucking black pilled about it,
No, I don't think about it that way. But the idea of like a lot of things mean a lot less. I mean, yeah. There's a portion of nihilism that I kind of am like, yeah, I get it. I'm not like 100% nihilistic, but the idea of like shit don't matter, just do stuff. I'm like, yeah, I could kind of get behind that.
Well, sort of. I think because the big thing with nihilism, right, is like nothing matters, so everything matters equally.
Yeah. Sure. That's what I mean. Like, it don't matter. So like, whatever. Fucking. I just like, it's I don't know. I'm just not like, I just cannot get, because it's a game where you all sit down at a table and like say funny voices at each other and roll dice, and it's just a thing you do for fun. It's impossible for me to like go that much deeper on the emotional investment. Like, I just can't. I'm never gonna get as invested as like a movie or a book. You know, those are different. You know, a movie or a book is like, there's sort of more stakes, there's more people, there's more moving parts, there's money and time investment. Although tabletop does have the time investment for sure. So I suppose you can make that argument.
It also can have a very serious money investment.
Yes, but the money investment is very optional, right? Like,
to a degree.
What I mean is, like, when you're dealing with a book and an author, that author's entire livelihood is based on you buying their product, right? That is different. Your livelihood is not based on you having a good tabletop session. You know what I mean?
No, but I think you're registering two different goalposts. One is a hyper macro, whereas one is a hyper micro. Like,
I get. Oh,
well, because if you think like, especially if you think about something like the money investment, right? Like, that author is a business person. They're doing this for business. That's a very macro thing. There's a lot of moving parts in the money making aspect of that book.
Yes.
Whereas playing games around a table is a very micro. So I don't think you can really hold them to the same standard. You know what I mean?
No, but what I'm saying is my limit. There is a limit on my investment because the book thing has more moving. You know, a book has more moving parts than a like tabletop campaign session between friends does. That's part of the limiter. I'm saying that is the limiter.
No, I get what you're saying. What I'm sort of trying to eke out or trying to understand, I guess, is the intimacy of it doesn't make it like doesn't sort of kick it up at least one notch.
It does, but not in the game itself. Where it gets kicked up is the sort of afterword. Like, I'm not gonna cry that my character in my D&D campaign died. There's just no fucking, like, it's never gonna happen. But will I have a sort of like, could a potentially thought-provoking thing come out of that scenario from the game, and then we all sit down and get dinner later, and then we have like a weirdly heavy conversation that's springboarded off of what happened in the campaign? Yes, that I understand. But that's coming from the intimacy of just like doing a thing with 5 people for several hours that involves a lot of brain juice and all of you slamming your brain juice together. So stuff happens out of it. But the game itself is just funny words we say at each other. You know, there's like a striation of separation there for me.
Fair enough.
So it's not that I don't care about a campaign or anything, but I'm not gonna I'm not gonna sit there and be like, my character died. He never got to talk to his brother. How am I gonna sleep tonight? But I might be like, wow, my character died and never got to talk to his brother. Wonder what kind of weird implications that would have on a person. Like, what if that happened in real life and like X, Y, and Z scenario, and your brother went out and fought a dragon and then fucking died? And like, what is the weird social implications? You know, like, I'll think about it in that way. But that's me sort of then extrapolating into real life, right? Like, it's like a tool, I guess, is the way you could put it. But I also kind of treat I think I kind of treat a lot of books and stories and shit like that. Like, I don't think that's a unique to tabletop thing for me. It's just the delivery method of tabletop is different, obviously.
When you read something, do you put yourself in the place of that character while reading it, or do you sort of see it as like a third party observer?
No, I'm always casting clairvoyance watching. I never ever insert.
That explains a lot.
Yeah, no, I don't insert myself into stories ever. In fact, I love it when a story is about a character that is really, really distant from me, because then there's like no way. Like, if the main character of something is like a black female lesbian, I'm like, oh, great. So if I like this character, I'm going to get really invested in her, and I'm not going to try and put my own brain into it. You know what I mean?
But you don't just do that sort of naturally. Like, for me, like, kind of no matter what the instance is, I always end up thinking about how I would handle a situation or how it would affect me in some way. Like, I just finished reading one of the 40K Space Marine books, and like the main character is so old, and he's so depressed, and like, he's 1,500 years old. It's Dante from the Blood Angels. He's so old. Like, Space Marines were not built to live that old, right? Like, they sort of, most of them don't make it past 500. So the fact that he's 3 times older than them, and he's like falling apart at the seams, and he just wants to die, but he can't because he's got shit he needs to do. Like, that sort of had me thinking about what I would do when I got fucking old, because, getting old is really my only real fear. So like, it's a thing. I think it's a thing that affects everyone equally. So then you go like, well, how would that affect me? Like, getting old and realizing I still had shit I needed to do before I went out.
Yeah, no, like, I don't think about like, what would I do in that scenario? I mean, maybe sometimes, but very, very rarely, if ever. It's much more of like it's much more, actually, in a lot of ways, when I'm looking at it, I see it as like this is how the author thought about it. This is how another, like when you're reading a book, it's like, oh, this is how another human being who I do not know, through this story they're telling me, they're also sort of telling me how they think about it, at least in some capacity. So I'll think about that, but I don't like insert myself into the story because I don't know. I don't feel a compulsion to.
Fair enough. For me, it's a bit of both. Like, because I always want to know how what the author was thinking when they wrote a thing. But just by nature of you consuming something, and as you think about it, you come up with your own opinions about it. So then you sort of cross-reference. Well, what were they thinking about? What was I thinking about? How were they like envisioning handling of a situation? How does it shift from the way I would think about it?
Yeah, no, I think I think about it more. I think I use it more as like a tutorial. Like
tutorial.
Yeah, like, so this character in 40K is like how he's dealing with the fact that he's fucking ancient and old. And then by the end of the book, presumably you get some sort of resolution to how he dealt with it, or how he, what you get some sort of resolution on what he decides to do or whatever, right? I just look at that and go, oh, so that's sort of a tutorial lesson. That's one potential way you could deal with it when you get to this point. Like, slot that in the old memory bags. That's one option. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a lesson to learn and visualize and be like, oh, okay, interesting. But it's like, I don't need to insert myself into the scenario in the moment so much as I can just sort of absorb the information and be like, this is how one human being thought about it in one particular way through this medium. Or I guess,
I don't know. It's such a foreign concept that to not like deeply engage with something on a personal level, or maybe I'm being a little too dramatic, but like engage with something on a personal level. I'm genuinely struggling. I can't even envision it.
Well, you're thinking hold on, you're making me sound like a fucking sociopath over here. It's not that I don't emotionally engage with things. It's not that. Like, I will have emotions over things, but I can also detach myself and also be aware, like, that shit ain't real. And so I don't, like, you know, I don't not. That's why I can play my D&D character like a burning boat, because I'm not inserting myself. I'm not like, I am my D&D character. I'm looking at my D&D character and being like, you're a little gremlin I'm controlling, and you're teaching me lessons via what happens to you. You know? Like, that's why I don't, that's why if they die, I'm like, you know, on like a really macro level, it's like, oh, your character died for walking into the room and then stepping on a trap and exploding. At which point I go, the lesson I learned from this particular gremlin, always check for traps, you know? Right? Like, that's it. That's on a very micro level. But like, that's kind of what I mean. It's like I'm sort of observing and taking in like lessons and stuff. But I'll have emotional, you know, like I'll be like, that was sad. But I'm not internalizing it as like, now I'm sad necessarily. You know what I mean? I can recognize a thing as sad, but I can also recognize I'm not sad. I just saw a thing that was sad. You know, give or take, you know, obviously if you're like watching a show or something and some heavy shit happens, sometimes you'll turn it off and be like, whoo, all right, hold on. We're going to sit here for a second. You know, like I'll do that. But I'm not gonna then walk around for the rest of the day like sad, you know, or you know, or maybe I'll have like an expression on my face. And I'll be like, "What's wrong?" I'll be like, "Oh, I just watched this one show. Shit got really heavy, and now I'm like, my brain's in like a tizzy." Yeah, it's not. I don't let it sway my emotions in the moment. In the moment when it's happening is different, right? In the moment, you do let it sway your emotions, but that's because you're choosing to let it sway your, you know, well, at least for me, I'm sort of choosing to let something sway my emotions in the moment, because that's the point of watching a show or reading a book or playing a video game, right? Is to let it fuck with you emotionally. But then afterward, when you step away, you know, for me, I think it's good to my brain to be like, all right, well, anyway, that wasn't real. You know, it's like the thing when you get, you know what it is? It's like the thing where you're playing fucking League of Legends or some shit, right? And you get really fucking salty in the moment, right? And then you get up and go get water. And like, you know, your mom or something says some shit to you. And then you're like a little salty at her. And you're like, wait, pause. Video game not real. League match is over. I'm not actually mad. Why am I? I'm being snippy for no reason. Turn it off. You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing. Because some people can't, you know, some people have a hard time doing that. And I don't want to say it's like unhealthy, but I do think it sometimes gets into like, I don't know, a bad spot.
I don't know. Like, I've been playing Souls games since Demon's Souls. I very, very quickly dropped my, I lost any ability to find rage while playing a game.
That's a really different example, though.
I know.
You're latching on to the specifics too much there.
I know. I'm being a shit. I'm doing it on purpose. But yeah, no.
That's the tabletop game for me. Like, character dies, sad in the moment, session is over, back to normal brain. You know, like that is how it works for me. And then internalize, you know, take what I was feeling in the moment and think about it and be like, huh, that was interesting. But don't actually let it make me sad, because no one in real life actually died. Nothing actually happened. Just plastic dice hit tables, right? That's
yeah. I mean, I think they're like, should it let you like, you know, oh, I'm sad my D&D character died, I'm not going to work today. No, absolutely not. But I think there is a level of like healthiness for, you know, your character died, you're upset about it, you know, you're sort of processing it in a sort of introspective. It might shift the way that you think about things for a few days.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, I'll do that in the moment while it's all happening. But then the afterword is not the same deal. You know, like they're two distinct things for me. It's
interesting.
I don't know. I think you could get a little like it could get a little maybe dangerous is an extreme word, but whatever. We're on the internet. We could say extreme things. Fuck it. You know, it gets a little dangerous if you let that kind of stuff sway you too much. Once you get up and walk, you know, you watch a TV, you know, like your D&D character dies, and then you go to work the next day, and you're just like fucking sad at work all goddamn day. That's, you know, you can't function like that. You know what I mean?
No, you can't. And like, I'm not saying it should affect you to that degree. Because I think that is, yes, that is dangerous, right? If you're so easily affected by things like that, that's dangerous. I'll give you that for sure. But you sort of compartmentalize things, right? Like, if you,
well, that's why, yeah, that's why I said I compartmentalize them as lessons. They're tutorials.
Yeah, like I'm not disagreeing with that, but for me, example, when Ty died, you know, for the rest of that night, like I started like. I didn't lose any sleep over it, but I definitely thought about it till I went to bed. And then the next day while I was working, I was sort of like working through the nuances of it in my mind, right? Like you're working, you're telling jokes, you're talking to your coworkers, but in your head, you're sort of, you're playing this, you're sort of scrubbing through the footage and then going like, well, what happened? Like how could things have changed if someone had done this, or if I had done this? And then you go, oh, well, that's really dramatic and interesting. I really like that. Or that's kind of sad. Hold on, let me hold on to that and maybe see if I can use that in another way. Like you're sort of using your emotions to do the scrubbing for you, right? Like you play, it's, you know what it is? You're sort of plucking at your heartstrings to see what resonates, if that, you know, flowery language aside.
I mean, it sounds like you're not doing anything that different from what I'm doing, contextualizing it different.
No, I think at the end, we're not doing much differently. I think you just do it, like you process it far quicker than I do, or than most people do, I would say.
Well, I don't even know if it's a speed thing, but I think I'm very analytical about it.
I mean, I am too. I like,
I'm kind of maybe a little robotical about it in a sense.
Potentially.
Ish. You know, like, you know, it's like when people ask me like, oh, you don't cry at shows or movies or stuff, and I'm like, no, I really don't, and I don't think I ever have. You know, like the only one I can ever think of when people bring that up is I almost cried a little bit watching the end of Witchblade, the anime.
Ooh. I was like, please don't say Titanic, please don't say Titanic, please don't say Titanic, please don't say Titanic.
I've never even watched Titanic.
It's a comedy. It's one of the funniest movies on the fucking planet.
I mean, fair enough. Yeah, like that's the only example I can even think of where I like almost cried.
Brett, you know? Don't clip that, wait.
Yeah, no, yeah, don't clip that.
Brett, don't fucking clip that. I swear to God, I will find you in Long Island and fuck you up.
You know, but also like...
But also, why you booing me, I'm right.
Why you booing me, I'm right. You know, I also, though, maybe I don't want to say that.
I mean, to your own admission, it's the internet. Say shit.
Yeah, I just like...
You gotta hold to your standards, bud.
All right, look, anyone who's listening, don't judge me on this statement. I'm also the kind of person who doesn't cry a lot when people, if at all, when people die in real life. So, you know,
I mean,
do with that, like when my grandmother died, I did not cry at the funeral. And I was like one of the only ones amongst my cousins at the very least. So, you know, and it's not like a situation where I like wasn't close to her, right? So, you know, the processing works a weird way for me. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, like, I mean, have you lost a lot of family members?
I don't know. How does one equate a lot?
I mean, sort of by person. Have you lost more than 4 in the last 5 years?
Yeah.
Fair enough. So that's more of a desensitization than anything else.
I don't know if I'd call it a desensitizing. Because
well, it sort of has to, like, you know, if you think about it, like, scientifically, the human brain can only deal with things to such a degree before it just goes, fuck it, I'm not dealing with it anymore.
Sure, but I've always been this way. I've never like broken down or anything, you know? So, you know, like, even when, you know, even when I had a cousin who died when he was like 13, you know, which is like a heavy one. Didn't cry there either. But I also have a momentum from him on me every single day. So, like, you know.
Is that the dragon necklace you wear?
No, it's the coin.
Coin?
My big $1 coin I always have in my pocket.
I've never known that you fucking had that. I don't think you've ever brought that up.
No, you've definitely seen it before, and it probably just didn't even register.
Yeah, I mean, I may have just been like, oh, why do you have that? But, like, I don't think I've ever asked.
Yeah.
I mean, I can fucking that knife I always have. I mean, that's my cousin's. He passed away, so, like, I get it.
Right. Yeah. So, like, you know, it's yeah. So, like, I'm kind of like the emotional swaying from things. I'm kind of weird about. I don't know.
Fair enough.
Also, particularly if I'm like in a crowd, not a crowd, but just like a group of people. Yeesh. Woo. Yeah, that's probably also part of the reason I don't let it hit me as hard with tabletop, is because when I'm with a group, it gets uncomfortable for me if things get real heavy, and I'm kind of like, okay, I'm gonna reel it back because everyone else is going way out there.
Have you ever, like, just tried going with the flow of it, just, like, letting it out and see what happens?
Yeah, it doesn't. I can't. I don't want to. Can't sounds like, but like I can't. You know. Doesn't it just doesn't. I don't know.
Maybe I mean, I'm sort of poking.
Yeah, I know. We're getting a little weird here. I don't know if we want to keep going down this path.
I mean, this is literally stream of consciousness, right? Like,
now it really is.
I don't know, because it's interesting, right? Like, I'm always someone who says, and I stand pretty firm by this, is that, like, anyone is capable of anything. It just requires the right application of force.
I mean, sure. Yeah, it's. I just don't like it. I don't know. It's just not the way I deal.
I don't know. This seems like just embrace the chaos. just push it as far as it'll go and see what happens.
I mean, I have gotten uncomfortable is the thing. Like, it's not
push farther. You have to, like,
it's not
to go even further beyond, and then you need to scream for 54 seconds and pass out halfway through it.
Yeah. Let's put it this way. Everyone, you know, particularly, you know, this is particularly true of grief, but this is true of all extreme emotions. You know, everyone reacts in whatever way you react, and I am not putting any kind of judgment call on how people react.
No, of course, you know,
like, and so the way I react, I've just kind of learned to been like, all right, I guess this is just kind of how I react. You know, conversely, on the other side, if something is like funny or like entertaining to an extreme degree, I do the opposite, where I start, like, I go over the top in an attempt to bring everyone else to my level. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
On the opposite end, you know, like when like, I mean, you've been around me enough. You know what I mean. You get what I'm saying? Like, I get really, like, extreme and start bringing other people in. And if somebody's being quiet, I don't let them. Like, if someone's trying to hide in the corner, I, like, don't let them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Which I'm sure some people get mad at me about. But
probably, yeah.
Whatever. That's also probably why I'm good at GMing, though, right? Like, because I point at the one time, like, hey, put that fucking phone down, you son of a bitch. We're fighting monsters. You know?
Okay,
right?
Yeah, all right. All right, we'll bring it back. We'll bring it back with this statement.
Yeah.
I laugh. It's not really a call out to the people who listen, because I do this. I understand. It happens, like, you've seen me, right? Like, we've been in sessions where I'm like, I don't know, like playing Soul Calibur 6 just sort of passively because I need to keep my brain from moving at 1,000 miles an hour. You know?
Yes, I don't think this is a good habit for you to perpetuate, but yeah.
I mean, like, I can't, on some, like, I can help it, but
well, with the application I heard one time with the application of enough force.
No, yeah, I know. Like, you can. The thing that keeps me, like, because I've tried it a lot. I apparently just haven't found. Actually, that's not true. The right application of force is a live session. That is it. Like,
yes, I mean, absolutely, yeah. I think that's true for a lot of people. I have
found it. If I'm live with people at the table, I'm like 112% zoned in. I can remember the whole session. Like, to this day.
But to clarify, what Isaiah is saying is in person.
Yeah.
As opposed to over the internet.
Yeah. To this day, I like some of the sessions I had in Cardell's original game, like very specifically when I was in the room with Cardell and Brett.
Yeah.
I could probably tell you right now, it'd probably take 20 minutes, but I can tell you like how the session started, basically what we talked about, like maybe some of the roles we had to make, and like the big stuff that happened. Like there's been that game ended in 2018.
Yeah.
So, you know, I can fucking, but if it's over the computer because like I have the internet and like on my phone and all my swords are around me and like, you know, I've got 6 model kits that I'm sort of started but haven't like really done much on. My brain's like, well, you can do this and this and that. Like you're wasting time if you're not doing more than one thing at the same time. And I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people have identified this issue with an over the internet game is the lack of tactileness makes it harder to stick in there. Because tabletop games have very little, if not no visual component by default, right? So a lot of people have identified this frustration, and that's why a lot of people, when you bust out the dungeon map with the dynamic lighting and the cool particle effects and like the animated tokens, all of a sudden everybody's like, ooh, shiny, right? Like, and when you're doing the sessions with the dungeon map and the dynamic lighting and the cool new effects and, you know, people will engage with that more and remember that more because now there's something more tactile to latch onto. The tactileness when you're an in-person session is the other people physically around you, the physical items on the table being moved, the pencils clickety-clacking, the dice noises, right? So like there's more tactileness, you know, that's why, you know, they have like a sound effect when you roll dice, you know, digitally, right? Like that's why they always have like a clicky clack noise or something like that. Or Roll20 has the bloop because it's trying to keep as much of that tactileness as you can. So yeah, it's totally understandable. I mean, shit, Roll20 even has a thing. A lot of people probably don't know this. Roll20 has a thing where you can roll the dice like as if you were physically rolling dice. You can left click and drag to actually throw the dice across the screen. And part of the reason that's there is to give you like an interactive tactile thing, you know what I mean? Like a kind of video gamey thing. So yeah,
honestly, I've tried it. It chunks whatever browser you're using.
Yeah, so that's the problem.
Me so much.
Yeah, it's cool. It doesn't work very well. And the other problem is when you turn on 3D dice, they're cool, but what you realize is they slow down the speed at which they slow down the chat, you know, the number that actually goes in chat. They actually slow the responsiveness of that down too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they don't work great, unfortunately. So, you know, there's that annoying thing.
But to the original, like,
so
I do this, like, so here's the thing, I have to play a game that's like brain dead. Like I have to play like Dark Souls or something I can just turn my brain off and do. Or again, like Soul Calibur, like just something to keep my hands and eyes busy so I can pay attention mentally to what's going on. But I have had times where I've had players like definitely playing 14 in the background and I'm like, hey player, and they're just like, hey, and they're like, oh, what's going on? I'm like, you motherfucker.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you got to understand your limitation if you're going to do that kind of shit. I mean, quite frankly, my response is resist the urge as much as physically possible. Because, like, I do it a little bit. I mean, shit, I will open up a Twitch stream or something, even while I'm GMing, you know? But I'm just kind of having it there as, like, a pressure release valve. I'm not using it or paying attention to it a lot, and I have it muted. You know what I mean? So, also a lot of the time it's just something to look at with my eyeballs, just because the board is not physically doing anything a lot of the time. You know. But yeah, you gotta understand your own limitations with that sort of thing, and try to, you know, yeah. I mean, I don't want to. If you must fucking play a video game or something, yeah, play something that's not gonna take an obscene amount of attention. Don't play fucking Civ 6 while you're in the middle of a session. You know.
So unironically, I'm willing to bet you that if I played fighting games during sessions, that's when I could lab for hours. I mean, we've talked about how I'm incapable of labbing because I get really bored. But if something's holding my attention, then I could probably lab.
I don't know. Maybe.
I won't, but I could.
See, I couldn't. Yeah, like I couldn't do that because when I'm playing a fighting game, I go into like fighting game mode, and I tend to my like all of my thought, like all my brain power goes into that. You know, that is something I tend to get pretty like mentally invested in. Can't just easily not pay attention to.
Yeah, I remember we talked about this a while back. And like ever since Ant said it, I try to use the screen name. Whenever he said it, I know. I mean, I know it matters to some people, so I try to be good about it.
Doesn't matter to that person.
Yeah. When he put it, like, you know, when I play fighting games, I just slap buttons. That's probably when I'm having the most fun playing fighting games. Like just hitting buttons.
Yeah, you don't enjoy them as like a technical exercise.
On some level, like it really depends in the game. Like Skullgirls I do, and Soul Calibur I do, and to some level like kind of Street Fighter I do, but like not really. For those, I'm like I actually care about improving. Like I really want to do good. But there's games like Guilty Gear where like I play Axel and I poke. I just throw my scythes out at people and see if I can catch them. Or I like to fucking stroke the big tree with Eno because I like the boing sound it makes.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the difference between someone who like plays fighting games every once in a while and someone who's like into fighting games is appreciating them as like a weird technical brain flex, or just being like, want to do cool thing, hit cool button. You know?
Yeah, like I said, I can appreciate it, certainly, especially with like Soul Calibur is my self-titled, this is my game. I cannot be defeated in that game. Or I cannot allow myself to be defeated in that game specifically. Because I've lost quite a bit, but I always come back. Or I try to at the very least. That's a game where I'm like, no, I have to get better. But I don't like it's I take the Vegeta route. I don't care about the special techniques. I'm just gonna sit there and kill things until I get better at it.
Yeah, see, but that's what I mean. You don't get into the technicality. Like, you're not looking up Soul Calibur frame data.
No, that I'd rather pluck my eyes out with a spoon.
Right.
That sounds
see,
awful.
That's the thing. I've looked up frame data and like analyzed frame data. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of the, you know.
I have to preface this really hard.
Oh, God.
This is not a call out. I'm not attacking you.
Yeah, you are, but okay.
No, don't worry.
Go ahead.
I remember I spoke with some people back when we went to school, and they were calling out frame data in Smash Bros.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, sir, you know this is a kid's party game, right? Like,
oh, you said you weren't calling me out, and you are calling me out.
Look, I'm sorry. Smash Bros is one where I'll say words. Any other game? You talking about Guilty Gear? I respect it. I respect it entirely.
We're not going to go down this rabbit hole. There's no difference, but we're not going to go down the rabbit hole. It's fine. We're going to move on. I'm not going to do it.
The difference is the intent.
No.
There's an intent in one. Like, whenever you ask Sakurai, he never meant for Smash Bros to be competitive. So, like...
Okay, yes, but, you know, just because the creator says one thing doesn't mean they get to declare it. Because once you put something out into the world, you know, you have to accept it's not 100% your baby anymore. But this is why we're not doing this. No, we're not doing this. We're not doing this because I'm gonna get mad.
We can talk about
No, because I'm gonna get mad.
No,
because I'm gonna get mad. No, I'm gonna get mad. I'm gonna get mad, and this has nothing to do with tabletop, so we're veering away. We're veering away.
I hate to be that asshole to say don't get mad for it.
We're gonna shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. All right. Instead, we're gonna talk about the statistical chances of rolling numbers on a d20. Right? All right. Let's do that instead. Christ. That's basically that's tabletop
call out.
That's tabletop frame data. That's tabletop frame data.
Yeah,
right there.
Okay. This is a real call out. Anyone?
No,
I think this is a call out to Sam specifically.
Oh god damn it!
But I remember we had an episode specifically about like dice systems, and it was interesting like to listen to it. But I care so genuinely little about it that like. I would never like if I was doing if I was making my own role-playing game, for example, I probably would just pay someone to do that research for me. Like hearing Sam talk about it, it was super interesting because like I can ask questions, right? Like there's a interactivity that goes into it. But doing it on my own, fuck that. Like no. No, I'd rather dry hump a cactus. No, I'm good. Like,
I mean, I don't want to. This is a rabbit hole I could probably go down for an hour. But we're gonna wrap up, so I'm not going to. But I'll say
this is my episode, sir. How dare you say we're wrapping up?
Well, I mean, we're hitting the time, sir. I'm looking at the time.
True. Look, the bell doesn't excuse you. I do.
Okay, all right, Mr. Montanez, relax.
Yeah. Okay. Real shit. Have you ever actually so many teachers said this shit to me in high school. Huh?
Where's this going?
Oh no, I remember I very specifically had a teacher say this to me in high school. And I was always very respectful to my teachers. Like because you had some fucking clowns who were just really disrespectful and really disruptive. But I had one teacher have a conniption because of someone else. And they were like, I just want you to know, the bell doesn't excuse you. I do. And then I just like, the bell rang and I got up and she was like, where do you think you're going? I was like, well, considering I have another class in 3 minutes on the other side of the school, do you want to talk to that teacher? Because I don't. I no, this isn't my problem. Sorry, bud. And I just left. And yeah, they were not happy with me for a while, but like, after the fact, we like talked it out. And it was ultimately like, don't do that again. And I was like, don't ever say that again. And we can agree on that. And then she was like, no. And I was like, fair enough. Just know that it's going to happen again. It was very Alucard Trevor, like, fuck you, eat shit and die. Like, it's like, we're not going to agree on this. That's a shame, bud. Like,
this is a weird battle you had, but okay.
I'm sorry. Teachers be going on power trips, and you're like, all right, bro. Like, unless you want to give me an A in a class that you don't teach, then shut the hell up. Like,
I never had that situation really, so I
don't. Okay, another weird fucking trade. You know what else you could describe this as? This is the Steve Lichman argument.
What?
The fucking wait. You're a paladin, right? Yeah. So you're pure of heart. Yeah. But you've slept, like, you've lain with the fair sex. Yeah. Then you're not pure of heart. But no, wait, yes I am. No, all right, no, shut the fuck up. Unless you can unfuck that girl, you're definitely not pure of heart. That's what it is. Unless you can give me an A in a class that you don't teach, you're not the fucking, like, you're not the arbiter on this.
I guess. I mean, I definitely had teachers say that to me, but none of them actually really tried to enforce it.
Yeah. Oh. Goddamn. We went so many directions this episode, but hey, we made it to 2 hours. We did it. I was scared for a little while.
I don't know why you're surprised about that.
I'm not really, but there's always like a fear, like a stress beforehand of like, can I talk for 2 hours? And then I realized we talk for
literally always
6 hours a day daily. So like,
yeah, it's not hard. Not hard.
I'm quite proud. We talked about
unlike
Kamen
me,
Rider
I'm
lot
hard.
Less.
What?
Really? On the phone call? You're hard on the phone call right now?
No, what? I didn't say anything.
You know what? We're gonna have to talk about boundaries after this. I just feel like they're not being respected.
They fucking shrug.
Damn, bud. Wait, what's that? The oh no, what's the phrase called in roleplay? It veils and something.
Lines and veils.
Lines and veils. Josh, come on. Nah. Canceled. That's it.
I'm trying to get on that green text. RPG horror stories. Let's go, baby.
Yo, those are so unhinged. I just
correct.
Do you like? You must have this, right? Like, if someone tells you a story and you're like, "How would I have reacted to that moment?"
Sometimes, yeah.
All of them. Every RPG horror story that I'm like, you couldn't have just called this guy a fucking loser and got up and left. Like, why did you stay? Like,
yeah.
God. All right, yeah, fair enough. It's been an hour and 50 minutes, and we went from on point to hyper sad to like full schizo.
Yeah, I don't like what you did. I don't like what you did to me. I'm calling my lawyer.
Fair enough. I mean, I didn't really do it on. I didn't mean to make it deep. You presented a very interesting thought path, and I don't know. I kind of wanted just to see where it went.
It went downhill.
It depends. I mean, I feel like for some people this can be very enlightening.
Maybe. I feel like I'm just gonna get judged.
I mean, fuck them. Like, who cares?
I mean, fair enough. Can't argue with that one.
I think Josh is this way. Fuck him. Like, if you don't know him, fuck him.
Fair enough.
Heard me Twitter. All right.
You heard me Twitter. Which you should follow us on.
Yes, you should follow us on Twitter. You should totally subscribe to our Totally Real Patreon that Brett doesn't know about. Totally official.
Right, don't no. Stop.
What?
Script.
There's a script? Since when?
Maybe I should write a script.
Maybe you should. But you're the guy who deals with this shit anyway, so maybe there's no point. Yeah, follow us on all podcast platforms. Like, comment, subscribe. You can do that on Spotify now. That's pretty sick. Yeah, follow us on the YouTubes and everything else. And yeah.
Have a nice day. Or don't.
Have a nice day.